He's my best friend. Did everything. And I'm left to do this all by myself, and it's just not an easy journey. Who would think that, something like a common cold, and you're thinking that you just have a cold, and it comes to turn out to be pneumonia, and he was just in the hospital for just to see what's going on, with this cold, and he wasn't feeling really good. But he wasn't telling me about all the other symptoms he was having, like with the difficulty breathing and stuff like that, until like the very end. I'm like, why didn't you mention that to me? Why wouldn't you tell me that? And I would have been told him like go to the hospital like ASAP, because I can't remember like having a cold and not being able to like breathe. Like your nose will be stuffed up or whatever, but not to the point where like it's really difficult to breathe like that, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't know why he kept that to himself. I don't know. I mean, I wish I could go back in time and don't be so mad to go to the hospital, but it's something I can't change. I'm just, trying to be strong for my kids, and, trying to cope with this, because this is not easy at all. Somebody that you plan on spending the rest of your life with, and it's just like, just vanished. It's just like over, like, it's just so weird. Sometimes I can't even get up out of the bed. Sometimes I can't even function throughout the day. I'm so used to speaking to him every day. I mean, like every day we didn't miss a day of speaking. I would call him and tell him, like, what's going on in my day. He'd call me and tell me what's going on in his day. And the time that he was sick, like, I was staying with my mom. So, I haven't seen my mom in like a long time, so I wanted to spend like the summer with her. So I was spending the summer over here with her, and all this time, usually when he's sick, I'm usually there with him, and I can see the symptoms like firsthand for myself and know that something's not right and he needs to go to the hospital. Also, he had dialysis as well, so sometimes he would get sick, so he went to the hospital a lot, but not like a lot, like, probably I would say maybe twice of every other month, maybe. Sometimes, when he wasn't feeling well, due to him doing the dialysis and stuff like that. But I would usually be there all the time. Whenever he has to go to the hospital, I'm there by his side, and I can speak up for him. He's more like a timid person. Like, he doesn't want to really tell people if he's in pain or tell people if he needs help. He's always been like that, and that's one thing I did not like about him. So I would have to speak up towards that, but other things he spoke up about that, he would let you know basically I don't like this, I don't like that, and this is how this is gonna go. He's usually with that, but as far as him when he gets sick, he won't tell you or nothing like that. He would just keep it to himself, and I would have to basically speak up for him, if the nurse comes in there and he says oh, I need pain medicine, or oh, my stomach is hurting. He won't tell them. He will tell me about it, and then I would have to basically speak up for him and let the nurses know that he needs something for the pain or something like that. But he was just there by himself, and when he called me and told me that he had to go to the hospital, I was like, you in the hospital? I was like, I'm thinking to myself, for a cold, huh? Okay, but he was like, yeah, I was throwing up and I had to come because I was not feeling good at all. And I seen him when he was talking to me on the video, and I could see that he didn't look too good to me. like as far as like his color of his skin just was like off and everything. So I was like, you know, I had told him, I was like, maybe you should go into the doctor and, you know, get an appointment so you can see the doctor and stuff. And he was like, he's gonna, you know, go home, take some Motrin, and he'll be, you know, he'll be fine or whatever. But the next day he texted me, and then I called him, and that's when I said that he was in the hospital. I'm like kind of throw back, like, huh? Like, you know, but, and then he told me that they told him that he had pneumonia, and I'm like, oh god, pneumonia, because like, you hear, you know, a lot of bad stories about pneumonia and stuff like that, so I'm like, oh boy, I'm like, getting this feeling of like, this ain't sounding too good, or whatever, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, he's gonna be okay, you know, I'm gonna pray on this, and it didn't go that way, it didn't go that way at all. And the next thing I know, I get a call that he took dialysis. No, actually, I called him. I was calling him back to back, but he wasn't answering or whatever. So I called the nurse to find out like what's going on, because I can't reach him from his phone because he had a cell phone with him. And the nurse told me that he is going to go and do his dialysis or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. She's like, yeah, he's fine and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. So she said they're giving him treatment for the pneumonia and stuff to treat it, like basically like the antibiotics and stuff like that to help get rid of it. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he's gonna be okay and stuff like that. And then that night I was calling him like back to back to back, and I'm like, I can't get through. I'm calling the hospital. They're like bumping me from here to there. Gave me a number to the wrong room. Like. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like being transferred here and there. So then I get a call. You know, I left him a message, you know, saying maybe you're not feeling well or whatever, you know, give me a call as soon as you get this. So, what was that? Actually, sorry, I'm backtracking. Actually, I did speak to him before he went to dialysis, and he said he had to rush and use the bathroom, like he had like some diarrhea or whatever, so he had to go rush and use the bathroom. And he went to go use the bathroom, I guess, and he said he's gonna call me back. And that's when I called and spoke with the nurse, and she said he went for dialysis and stuff like that, because I was wondering like why he didn't call me back. So that's when all, you know, after that I was calling, you know, to make sure he was good. And then the next day I got a call saying that while he was on dialysis, they see that his basically like his heart rate was really going really fast or something, and his oxygen levels were low, so they had to put him on the ventilator to, you know, give him oxygen so that to help him with the breathing, because he was having difficulty breathing. So I'm like, oh wow, I'm like debating on like, you know, what to do, or, you know, to go to the hospital. But I had just went food shopping, and I was like so mad that I even went food shopping, but I had to do it because I have to feed my children, you know what I'm saying? So I was like mad that I spend like all of my money on food shopping, because when I do food shopping, I like to do it in bulk. I don't like to be going back and forth to the supermarket, so I basically do food shopping for the whole month. So I had spent like basically all my money, and I didn't even have money to catch the train. Like, that's how broke I was. Like, I spent all my money. So I wish he would have told me like, oh, I'll, you know, pay for you to come in a cab or something like that. But he was like, he was gonna be alright and stuff. So I figured that, you know, I'd be praying and everything that everything will be okay. But that was the last time I got to speak to him. And then after that, the father called me and told me that he had passed away. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean, like, passed away? Like, I was just speaking to him, and the nurse said that he's fine. They just giving him oxygen. Like, I'm like, huh? Like, I was like so confused. Like, how? Like, why? Why me? Why now? Why at all? Like, I'm like, why? I remember, you know, talking to him. He's like, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. I love you guys and everything. And I'm like, I was just so confused. I just broke down I broke down and I just stayed in the room and locked the door and I was just crying uncontrollably. Like, the room was spinning and everything. Like, I didn't even know what, like, was going on. I was so thrown back about this whole entire thing. Like, flashbacks and life flashed before my eyes. All the plans that we had made together. I just don't know what to do. I think I'm going to the counselor to talk about this because I find myself like I could just be outside and just sitting there and like a little thing will remind me, like everything reminds me of him, and it's just so hard to get through this. Yeah, so that's my story. And I'm trying to, get back on my feet. And I haven't been really advertising with the hair business because I'm like, I just haven't felt like it, like really, like I advertise here and there, but it's not really serious, like. So I'm looking like a hot mess, as you can see. My nail broke off and everything. I just have like this of like, don't really care how I look now. Like, I'm just trying to take it day by day and be there for my children. That's all that matters to me. They're my world now. This might was best for them. That's what matters. So I started with like a GoFundMe account, and it's like nobody's really paying that any mind. I don't know, but I'll put the link down in the bottom of this video, and you could share it, or whatever, or donate anything will help. And thanks for watching my video.